Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and welcome to episode 4 of ISGP Talk. Today, joining me is my friend, a speedrunner, a man, a dude, a Spyro player, and many other descriptive words. It is Newan. It is Newan. Yep. Hi Newan.
Hello.
Yeah,
Good to be here.
It's become a bit of a gimmick that I just waffle on for 15 seconds trying to think of stuff to describe someone, and all I say is you're a Spyro player. So I think you should be very offended right now. This is just appropriation.
All there is to me.
You can't believe it. And the Jack and Jones shirt, of course. All right, so coming to you live from a university dorm room, we are here to talk about all sorts of things to do with ISGP. This is the first competitor that's been on the show, quote unquote, that has made it to the second round, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But I think first what we should do is sort of go over, Group A, B, and C. Obviously, Newan was in Group B, and we'll talk about Group B because I think you're one of the perfect people to talk about this because of, one, your late entry and everything, the people that dropped and everything, and just how the whole sort of board, how the whole leaderboard ended up. So, just give me your thoughts on Group B in general, and then we'll dive in a bit more. Okay,
so when I was joining the tournament, I kind of had it pegged as the weaker group, mainly because there was only one name that I recognized, which was Luke.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that it surprised me, actually. There was some pretty strong competition in the end. There's like Luke's really surprised me, Angus really surprised me, Muddy Maestro and Knight and C, like those four in particular.
Yep.
Kind of jumped out at me, and I was kind of shocked by how confident they were.
Yeah.
I definitely came into it expecting it to be more of a cakewalk than it was.
Yeah, and then obviously G4 got really close to being it as well.
For sure. I think with G4, I felt like it was we were both kind of out of our element. We were both playing Spyro 1 and lost and confused.
Yeah.
Which kind of I think that's why the run was so entertaining. Is we were both flailing around.
Yeah.
Which I feel like people like to see flailing.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, if you're looking at the sort of viewership of things, people do love the runs, apparently, of just, of idiots. So, me and Alice, me and Alice is popular because we're such morons at bingo. Thanks, Wally, for that one. But yeah, no, I thought, I actually agree with that too. I thought that was pretty much going to be a shoe-in. I did assume it would be you and Luke in the top two, and I did have a feeling it would be Angus probably third or fourth, but I think that third/fourth slot was really up for grabs, especially when Muddy came into things, and Muddy really kind of messed up the group. In fact, Muddy, you've got Muddy to thank for actually being first place in your group, because Luke, your one loss was to Luke, and that was very interesting because at that point we were all prepared that it was going to be just Luke first and then you second after that. So very, very surprising, I guess.
Yeah, so the funny thing about that is that I was started practicing Spyro 3 because I expected to be against either Kate or Toto.
Yeah.
Right? And then it turns out that I'm going to be against either Chris or Wally, so I was like, well, that's a Spyro 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so...
And then...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and then interestingly as well, I guess Muddy kind of decided first place, and he also decided fourth place, right?
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Because Knight and C might have made it through based on Dino Pony probably just getting a loss, and then James Jones was probably an assumed loss as well. So G4's got to be extremely happy about that. Eric was very happy about that. But what about Group A and C? What have you sort of thought about those races and the competitors there as well? So
I followed Group C a bit more closely, I think. I don't know, I find it the more interesting group. I think that there've been more close matches, and it's been I don't know, I feel like there's been more of a storyline going on in there.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start with Group C, and then I'll talk about Group A in a little bit less detail maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess with Toto and Wally, with those two, I kind of just expect them to win. So I have slightly less interest in some of their races.
Yeah.
Just because of their ability.
Yeah.
But what I found really interesting is watching your race against Noel versus Alice.
Yeah.
I think, all those kinds of races, and then you versus Al as well.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of very interesting races going on in Group C.
Yeah.
I think from that, what surprised me There's Baron's F has definitely been the big surprise to me.
Yeah, well, exactly. Baron's was, pretty much like the last time I spoke to him, apart from like the RIP tournament last year. Last time I properly spoke to him, he was like a 14-year-old. You know, he had like a super high voice, and then like he comes back, and it's like I was like, is that even him? Like he has grown up both figuratively and literally in terms of like, and it also his skill as well. He used to, I think I actually had his number. I think I'd beaten him a couple of times through like Gex, not anything Spyro, of course, because I'm shit at Spyro, but some of the old games like Gex and Disney and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure I'd had his number. But yeah, he really did come in strong. I think really did deserve that third place in the group as well. Really, if Toto wasn't there, if Toto or Wally wasn't there, I think he would be first, basically.
Yeah, he's who I have pegged for the Classic Week.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's my prediction. Just to jump around a bit.
Yeah.
But, although that's a very like uneducated prediction, right? Because while I know how good Toto and Wally are, he's lost to both of them. Okay, it's hard to say how good he is just because he's beaten other people, and I don't know the other people's true ability.
Yeah.
I don't have much to base it off of. So it is hard to see.
That's fair. Yeah. And then Group A.
So Group A to me has been a little bit less entertaining because it's kind of like there's two very very distinct tiers in it, right? There's like the haves and have-nots and have-nots. Have-nots.
Obviously Fraser being in the top elite tier, and then everyone else. Yeah. So to an extent, like I know that. Well, obviously I recognize a lot of the names in this group beforehand. Like I think the top, Katie, Chris, Ratchet, Zindictive, and Trob were all names that I recognize. Yep.
For the tournament, so I knew that to expect like at least a vague degree of competence from all of those, if not more.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of showed in the tournament. It's like those five are definitely like running the group.
Well, yeah, I would say that Group A is most disappointing if I had to sort of give it that label, because of the fact that we had someone that was a shoo-in to be third place drop out. Trob is actually Trob is a bit like a Barons, but probably a bit better, where like he was not quite Chris and Katie tier, but he was still quite good, and he pretty convincingly beat most of the other guys.
He would be my classic pick if he was still there.
I definitely agree. I think he would have had it. I think he would have definitely had it. But I think that that group kind of, because of the nature of it and like Lyle and stuff like that, when we picked it out, we knew that to make it like really the people that got screwed over, quote unquote, when it was going to be like to go through would have been Ratchet, Trob, and Zen. Maybe to an extent Liam, when he was like sort of gave a shit. Whereas like we put in Fraser and then Lyle and then Christian because and Kiefer, because we didn't really know with Kiefer, but we kind of knew that they wouldn't really make it through anyway, so we thought we'd make it hilarious to have like these kind of legends, so to speak, against like these just really average bad players.
Like shout out to a lot of those guys. So like Lyle's race against Katie is something I'd like to highlight. Like that race was hilarious.
That was great. And Lyle is innovating with bringing in the old face cam, so I'm a big fan of that. I love that. That was excellent. Yeah, I'd love to see. I wonder who he would theoretically team up with if there was any kind of tournament with tag teams. I'd love to see him and Mr. Gamesendy, someone that you haven't actually seen yet, but he's always good crack. He's a great crack. So what about us talking about transitioning, kind of the transition, because you are one of the more known runners within the Spyro's speedruns community, the more traditional community where you guys have like more set goals and stuff like that. So what was it like coming from that, and you're still part of that obviously, but then also kind of joining us and doing these kind of obscure races that kind of have many different rules and stipulations and goals and whatnot? What was that like?
So I guess the first thing to like qualify this with is that I was like before entering this tournament, I was kind of away from speedrunning for like a year, or maybe 9 months. So this was a good chance for a start for me to like de-rust, so to speak. Which is a big thing that drew me to this tournament. I'd say that the transition between like these kind of goals isn't too drastic, just because I've played a lot of Spyro 2 Bingo, which means that I'm kind of used to doing random goals. The big switch up here is that it's forcing me to like do random goals in Spyro 1 and 3, and I don't necessarily know where everything is in those games. So I think you can definitely see that with like my runs. It's like in those two games, it's like where is this thing? I need to find this thing.
But I think that's a good thing, and in many ways that this tournament, is actually proving, I think, good for some of the more experienced runners, because it's sort of teaching them like more obscure things that they wouldn't think of, but it might end up coming in handy as a general, maybe not entirely for like an 80% run, but like certain elements of it could be considered useful in more traditional speedruns.
I think it's very healthy as well, because it's like just for general ability, because it forces you to like leave muscle memory behind. Like the danger with like a run. So what I specialize in is 14 talisman, which is a category which is basically running in lines. And you build up so much muscle memory that you're hardly even playing the game. You're just performing inputs. It's all just muscle memory, right? So like, these random goals where you've got no muscle memory at all, it's really good for your general ability of playing the game fast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of 14 talisman because of the fact that there's no you don't have to use the gulp skip, so you can so you can you get to experience more of the game. I'd say that even with the gulp skip and like riptoe skip and stuff, that it's even more what's the word, like finicky, how you've got to get the muscle memory to like get that exact movement right, when you're trying to like line up to get to gulp, and you've got to line up against the wall and then fall. So it's at least 14 tally does have that element of, they're still like running around the levels and stuff like that, and there's still over the years been a lot of optimization to get the absolute best route to the end of the level and stuff, so that is fun. So with the more obscure races, what sort of races have you enjoyed doing, actually, then, for that matter?
Let me think. Okay, so one race that I actually really enjoyed doing but didn't get as much attention and maybe didn't end up as being as interesting as I hoped it would be was me versus Night NC, where we raced in Spyro 2 to get free Professor Orbs, which is all of them for the record, free skill points and free Hunter Orbs. And I just thought the routing in that run was very interesting. Like, that's what I like about speedrunning generally, is the routing. And I think so that made that very entertaining for me. I think that because maybe it wasn't as tricky, the challenges ended up not being that tricky. It ended up being like a bit of a stagnant run. Like, it was kind of like you just kind of kept going. There wasn't kind of any overtaking.
Did you do you like to do runs that are like races with people where you start later in the game? Because I personally have enjoyed anything that's been like starting later in the game, actually. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think at a certain point, like especially with Spyro 3, you realize that you're just like collecting these same like eggs over and over again. It definitely gets old. That's why Spyro 2 is like my game of choice for any race in general, because like you can get to the end game so fast in that game. That's right.
Like
and then you can go back and do all this other stuff. Like you actually set up a save state, which I've got to pin it to announcements so it's easy to see. But you made a save state where you ran through the game and tried to basically you collected no gems, right? You got nothing.
0. So all I got was the glimmer talisman.
Exactly. Only glimmer talisman, so you don't have to go there, but you can still do challenges there theoretically. And then you're starting at Winter Tundra with nothing, having beaten the bosses. So that's definitely next tournament or tag tournament or whatever, anything that happens, I definitely want to see more people use that save state, because I think it's a great one to be able to do. I want to see fraction. I want to see what's it called, Robotica Farms tasks and stuff like that. I want to see Cloud Temple stuff. We barely saw. I don't even think anyone went to Robotica Farms. I don't think there's a single run where anyone's So and it's a bit like that with Spyro 3 as well. Spyro 1, there's obviously that easy cheat to get to the end of the game, so that was good to see that. But that's it. It should be good.
That's the thing, right? It's like, it's all well and good, like me and Wally, for example, just playing Spyro 2 and going to the end, but like most people can't in this tournament can't do gold skip.
And that's that, and that is something that, by the nature of what this tournament is, I'm never going to expect most people to be able to do it. And even though, like, obviously some speedrunners might look at that and go, well, come on, just learn it and stuff like that. I think that if there's an element of it where it's so finicky that it almost unless it's between two skilled players, it kind of takes the fun out of watching it. You don't want to watch someone try it for half an hour. Just from an entertainment, that's also what we got to consider. And I guess that's why I'll ask this one question before I get to round 2 instead. I'll skip ahead. I guess that's why the sort of the difference between what these communities are and stuff like that is that why we may get a little bit of scoffing from some people is that we do kind of shy away from those sort of skips because we want to see it be a little bit more entertaining between, you know, people of like different skill levels and stuff. So with that said, what impressions, if you've got at all, have you got from anyone that you may know, like in the Spyro speedrunning community, about what this is? And do you think that anyone would be intrigued in the ISGP format, you know, going forward? I know, because obviously you're interested in it. So what would, you know anyone else that perhaps would be? This is obviously a scouting call right now. This is talent scout.
There's obviously a few people that I get interested in this kind of thing, like mostly bingo players, I'd imagine, since it's a similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's like a few names that I know definitely aren't interested. Some of them for different reasons though. Like some are just like very invested in improving their times in these categories, and they're just like serious like time trialists, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they're not really interested in not having fun, but like not really interested in just messing around.
Yeah.
The other reason that I've heard thrown around is that, like, I'm going to name drop him here. Saboom has said that he doesn't really like the idea of these long spread out tournaments. Like, he doesn't enjoy feeling like he has to be around for so long.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'd be much more open to it if it was just a thing where we just did loads of runs in a row on one day.
Yeah. Well, that's where the international title of that comes from, because you got people in different time zones working and education and all that sort of shit. So it's like it's hard to sync up the times. And I think that in terms of whether people, you know, how long this goes for, this did go for a long time and it's still not over, and I think in the future we will be tightening things up and making them be shorter than this. But I think that in terms of what his desires are, I'd say it's probably impossible for it to go like that, like where it's like done in a week or two.
I think he comes from a world where it's like common to just like wake up on a Sunday morning and do like a 13-hour UBO race.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. No, that's it. Like he would be a great guy to have around, just because we actually, some of us know him from just the old days, just on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, so he'd probably be one of the bigger names to join. But the one other name I heard was from Toto, was interested in getting Bucci on, or maybe even Spudley Man as well. So that's interesting. Yeah, that intrigues me.
So Bucci in particular is someone I could definitely see joining. Like, she's definitely into this kind of like fun run kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dudley, I would imagine that he'd be up for it, but he's not. I'm not sure how active he is at the moment. Is the thing.
Yeah. I just remember
like a lot of speedrunners kind of come and go in phases. Like they'll like rejoin and start doing runs again, and then they'll fade, like they'll burn out and leave for a while.
Yeah, of course. That's fair.
It's definitely a very dynamic community in that respect.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone else then?
Look, off the top of my head. Maybe I should like look in Discord and just like look at the bingo. So
go past. Yeah, I know that Alex Dest was interested, but then there's a bit of stuff, so I don't think he's interested anymore. Yeah. It's safe to say I don't think he's interested in joining. But yeah, I mean, hey, look, anyone is welcome essentially once they pass our Google form.
I think that the problem is that like a lot of the people that are kind of maybe interested in bingo technicals are also, I don't want to say elitist, but they're not really interested in limiting themselves the way I am. Like I'm quite open to the idea of like messing around doing no double jump or like banning climb skip for the sake of competition.
That's a big reason why I'm quite a big fan of you and Toto's mentality, because I've talked to Toto about this a little bit, not to put him on the spot, but I've talked to Toto about this a little bit in depth, and we were talking about that, and that was one thing I really respect about him, is that he's of the mentality that you can still speed run while not just doing every skip. You know, you can still be very fast at the game. Like gem routing is something that is inherently not really based on skipping. I mean, there's obviously some areas you skip, but collecting gems. Spyro is a very diverse game. You got to think that we're almost spoiled as Spyro players in terms of the kind of versatility you can get with speedrunning the game. Because if you compare it to Crash, you just have to get to the end of the level with the boxes or the gems. There's like a couple gems you can skip, like the red gem in Crash 2, and that's about it. Everything else is just a set path. Spyro has so much versatility and so much control over what you do. So to me, and as Toto said to me as well, limiting yourself, I guess, isn't really limiting yourself to all of the kind of opportunities you can make within the games, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. It, like, if anything, it just makes for more and more routes, right? It's like more and more routes to come up with, right? Like if you ban climb skip, then suddenly maybe going to the top bottom planes isn't fast anymore.
Yeah.
Because you need 500 jumps of climb, so you go somewhere else. It's very dynamic.
Yeah, that's right. So no, I'm glad. I'm glad that we've got like people of all skills and ages and everything like that here. I think it's made it very diverse. And obviously, even though there are clear standouts, people that are probably guaranteed to make it through almost every time, I think it's still fun to see, like people that are better than others sort of do like races that are a little bit out of their own comfort zone too. Because I guess it's just inclusive in that regard. So, it's good. So we'll wrap it up by getting you to give your thoughts on Wally and the round 2 competitors. So your race, see how you think that's all going to play out. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm very hesitant to like give an actual prediction of who's going to win.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it is somewhat of a coin flip. I think it's somewhat slanted in his favour, just because he's been playing bingo a bit more recently than me.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, that's what we're racing.
Yeah. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, but so I feel like we are somewhat on a level. Like, our history of like racing being against each other has been like reasonably balanced. Like we each pick up wins against each other.
Yeah.
I'd say he's definitely won more than me, but like anything can happen, really.
Yeah, I think that it should be a good race. I think that both of you are quite great at Spyro 2, so that's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
The bingo format, very unpredictable by nature. It is very, it's a very fun, ridiculous kind of format.
I guess I can kind of give a teaser of what we're actually doing. So we're actually doing something called double anti-bingo.
Okay.
Which is so each competitor picks a row for their opponent with the idea of that's a really bad row.
Okay.
And then after you find out what your opponent's chosen for you, you pick another row yourself. Which then the idea is that row, the row that you pick for yourself is a good row, and it kind of has synergy with that bad row that they pick for you.
Oh fuck, that's good. That's really good. That's great. Yeah. Oh, we got to use that definitely. That is a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because if you get a shit row, you can somehow pair it with something that's like in that level as well, or like in that vicinity of collecting. Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah. So there's a lot of strategy with it. But and don't you limit it? Don't you only have a short amount of time to actually pick or something like that? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. So to make it fair, like you have until the first cutscene ends, because like we sit through the cutscenes at the start of Spyro 2, which is like it's like a good length for picking goals.
Yeah.
So with the double anti-bingo, they have until the end of the first cutscene to pick the first goal, like pick their opponent's goal.
Yeah.
And then that gives the whole second cutscene, which is quite long. So that gives you time to kind of like look through the goals and pick one that complements your other goal.
Yeah. Excellent. That's excellent. Cannot wait to see that. So, what about the rest of round 2? What are your thoughts on it? You got Toto, Chris. You've got all the classic stuff. You don't have to go too in depth. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I can talk a little bit about each one. So, what have we got? So we've got Katie versus Luke. Mm-hmm. Should I mention what they're doing, or is that
I think all I know at this point is like Spyro 2, right? It's like 14 tally or something plus.
Yes. So they're racing to get 14 talismans, and like along with all of the hunter orbs, I believe.
Cool. I like that. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
And I think this is again quite a balanced race. Like for some reason, Spyro 2 is everyone's most like even game. Each race is most even game. Yeah. Like neither of them are like top tier at Spyro 2. I mean, no one in this one is top tier at Spyro 2, but like both of them are like less experienced than me and Wally, for example, and Chris and Toto.
Yeah.
But I think that this goal, they're definitely like similar ability at this kind of set of goals.
Yeah.
I really feel like that one is somewhat of a conflict based on just like who performs on the day. There are like some skips in 14 Talisman that maybe aren't as consistent for them as they are for like me, because I've done it so much.
Yeah.
So they'll like if one of them has a bad day with like one of the harder skips, like through a level, then I can decide it. The hunter orbs I don't think should slow them down too much. Maybe a speedway or two might go wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think that'll be fun. Like Luke to me is a very unpredictable competitor. Just even dating back to the first IAS, like he won the first one. Well, he won it because Juhis, this other guy, like his game basically froze. So like I don't know if he would have won, but yeah, he's always been quite good. He's always been quite good. But yeah, he does have these moments, where he has these sort of fades. Like I mean, he was pretty convincingly beat by Muddy So that really that's what made him. But then he beat you in Spyro 3 because he's probably better at you at Spyro 3, or you had a sort of a bad run compared to him
so I guess to quickly mention that, I guess that was a bingo that we picked on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
And rather than execute, it was a weird loss, right? It wasn't execution based at all. It was literally just I picked a bad goal and he made a much better decision than me at the start.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what happened with Muddy too. I think Muddy probably picked. Yeah, the picking of the rows are hugely important. I mean,
yeah, it's a big skill set. Like you have to get good at it if you want a chance to win a bingo.
Yeah,
like it can save like 5 minutes plus in a half-an-hour run.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of those rounds and see what Luke can do, and then obviously Chris versus Toto.
So they are racing to collect 14 talismans as well, coincidentally. I think that's because neither of those two groups are as happy with gold skip as me and Molly, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that I'm not gold skip master.
Who is a gold skip master? What, like the SSBM, Tuval?
Tuval is the god of gold skip.
Is he still got the record right now?
He does not. He doesn't have. Does he have any record? I don't think he has any records.
Is it SSBM that is he number one?
In what category, sorry?
For like any percent Spyro 2.
No, that is actually, well, Lewis B has the official record with 8 minutes 30 because of Waterfall Prophecy, pretty much to an extent, and also it's a very good run in its own right as well.
Yeah.
But technically, Retro has the, Retro?
Not Retro from this server.
Yes, from the server. Technically, he has the record.
Technically, he has the record. Okay.
But he's taken the run down.
Yeah.
And also, this really matters, but Lewis's run is better in execution. It's just that Retro has a PSDD and Lewis is on PS2.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about that after this tournament. Yeah. It's been great. It's been great to have you in the tournament. I think you're been very friendly to people that have not been as good at the game, and I think you've accommodated them, and that's honestly, like, as preachy as it is, that's honestly all that we really want to see. Like, that's what me and Angus were like, okay, do we let the speed, the sort of the better speedrunners in? We thought, yes, we can, but we want to make sure that they understand that, like, it may not preference them in some regards, like in terms of skips and stuff like that, but they can still do what they do for the most part and hopefully have fun. And I think that has definitely been proven. And this next round, I think, is going to be absolute fire in terms of the kind of stuff we're going to see. So it's not like it's permanently. Hey, you know what they say? If you can't get good at glitches, maybe you need to just get good. Maybe you need to learn the game a bit more. Yeah, it's good.
Actually, I've been told to give a shout out. I need to give a shout out to Katie Lady.
Yep. Okay.
As hilariously, I initially learned 14 talisman from watching her speedruns.
Really? There we go.
Yes.
Expunging the knowledge from the older. Well, actually, I was going to say, I think Bucci's the oldest one, but one of the older.
I'm not sure. They're all old.
They're all old. Even you're a bit old.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's true.
But
it's quite amusing that I learned from Kate's random run. Like, that was like 30th on the leaderboards, and just picked that.
Yeah, well, it's sometimes you they say, like, in speedrun, what's the word? When you're, like, learning or something like that, they say don't watch the world record, like to learn how to do. Don't just try and imitate the world record, because you probably not skilled enough to do a lot of it. You almost want to watch a lower level run to kind of get used to it, get your bearings, develop your own strategy.
It's like, the thing with that is, like, just learning from world record is the fastest way to get world record.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be fun for you. You want to start off easy and work your way up if you really want to have fun.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced speedrunner, you just say, I want to pick up this game and I get world record. Then sure, I'll learn everything straight away.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you, like, want to enjoy yourself, then learn slowly, learn a bit at a time, get better over time.
Exactly right. Well, Newan, thanks for joining me today. It was great, and good luck in round 2. It's going to be fun. I know you're up against the Group C boys, so I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted, but honestly, I'm happy with either of you winning at this point, because I think that you guys will be go on a bit of a tear if you do get eliminated in terms of the redemption race.
The redemption race is definitely nice to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit. Yeah, you know what? Even I think the professional speedrunners would love the opportunity of getting a second chance to redeem.
Yeah, for sure.
That does appeal. That appeals to anyone. good, bad, great, amazing shit. Everyone wants another chance. So good luck in that. But if you don't win it, you've always got another chance. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Newan. I'll speak to you later.
See ya.